Welcome back. Prime Minister Modi announced a cut of 100 rupees per cylinder in cooking gas prices on the occasion of International Women's Day today. The price reduction, which comes just days before the likely announcement of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, is set to benefit nearly 33 crore households that use liquefied petroleum gas or LPG as cooking fuel. Now, while making the big announcement, the Prime Minister hailed it as a move to reduce the financial burden on women. It was their commitment to strengthen Nari Shakti, is what the Prime Minister said. Let's take a look at some figures first at how the government has reduced LPG cylinder rates over the last 6 months or so. In July 2023, the normal consumer had to pay 1103 rupees per cylinder. Ujjwala beneficiaries, of course, had to pay 903. In August 2023, the government slashed cooking gas prices by 200 rupees. For every other consumer, that meant it was now at 903. For Ujjwala beneficiaries, they had to now pay 703 rupees per cylinder. In October 2023, then we had some more reductions. Only for the Ujjwala beneficiaries, that price was reduced to 603 is what we're given to understand. After today's announcement, everyday consumer will have to pay 803 for each LPG gas cylinder, while Ujjwala beneficiaries will be paying only 503. Now, slamming the opposition's narrative and defending its big measure, the centre maintained that global cues resulted and prompted the slashing of prices. Let's take a look if that's a valid argument to make. Over 60% of domestic LPG consumption is imported by India. Prices of commercial LPG are set by LPG marketing firms, which is why we saw even recently that prices were hiked as far as commercial LPG cylinders went. The government, though, modulates effective pricing for domestic LPG usage. Now, the price benchmark that is looked at as far as deciding these prices are, it went up from $415 per metric ton in 2021 to $712 per metric ton in 2023. Now, these oil marketing firms allegedly suffered under recoveries of about 28,000 crore rupees because of that. What the government did in response was they approved a one-time compensation of 22,000 crore rupees to these oil marketing companies. Now, war words had to break out where in election season, the opposition is not resting easy over this announcement. They have been firing pot shots at the centre, calling this a jumla. Defending the move, though, the centre fact-checked the opposition. They said this had nothing to do with the elections. Let's take a look at what they had to say. Moments after that announcement was made by the Prime Minister on social media, the opposition said that this was another election jumla. The BJP said the timing has nothing to do with it, it's all in the opposition's head. The opposition asked the centre why they didn't do it in the last 7 months. Why did they wait for a few days before the date announcement was to happen? To which the BJP said that the move depended on global cues and the decision was taken after crude oil prices came down. The opposition didn't stop at that. They went on further to ask what exactly was happening as far as this particular easing of financial burden is concerned. That's what the government said they were trying to do. To which the government said that the opposition, all they do is try and put out barbs, but they do not do anything and only question the BJP because they in fact have been pushed into the corner. So the big question that we ask on Plain Speak tonight is this decision an election jumla or a masterstroke by the central government?
और आज ही मैं अभी आप तो यहाँ बैठे हैं, मैं गैस सिलेंडर का 100 रुपया कम करके आया हूँ.
Just when election is 10 days, I mean it will probably be announced in the next 5 or 6 days is what I hear in the media. So ये और एक जुमला है भैया.
चुनाव होने के बाद चुनाव का फल निकलने का पहले देखा जाएगा 100 रुपया कम किया, 200 रुपया बढ़ा दिया.
अभी क्यों किया? अरे हर एक चुनाव से पहले मुझसे पूछते हैं ये कम क्यों नहीं होता है दाम. हाँ, मुझे पूछा जाता है और मैं कहता हूँ इसके साथ चुनाव का कोई लेना देना ही नहीं है.
Joining me on this broadcast, national spokesperson of the BJP, Syed Zafar Islam, Sujata Paul, spokesperson of the Congress. But before we get into the politics of it, I want to get in policy economist Nirupama Soundarajan first in. Ma'am, the government says that this decision has been taken now because global cues are what matters. Prices were reduced, so we've passed on the benefit to consumers. Is that sound argument to make? Because the opposition doesn't seem to agree with it.
I think it is a sound argument to make, and this is an argument that was also made way back in 2023, when I think Minister Puri at that time had also said that if the price were to come down below $750 per metric ton, then they would pass that on to the consumer. So I think as you had read out right at the beginning, the kind of rates decline that we see, they've been reducing it in a systematic manner. So I think this is just in line with it. Plus, given it's Women's Day, and with that narrative, another additional 100 also acts as a bonus.
Right, so the timing is just coincidental, Sujata Paul. Why does the opposition not believe that?
Do you really want us to believe that? Well, the fact is that because the Prime Minister has announced that this is Women's Day and he's doing it on the occasion of Women's Day, he never said that the prices of crude oil have come down. That's why he's passing the benefit. If he had to do that, then if you look at the last 10-year chart, then I would say that yes, there were many times when prices had reached the same as it is today, $78.93 per barrel. But was it passed on to us? No, it wasn't. So if you remember, when the assembly elections were around the corner, of course, cut was announced, and now another cut has been announced because yes, the issues of the people include price rise and inflation, and people are asking for relief from it, and the government has not been able to do anything in the last 10 years. But this, of course, is a Jumla, and this is the new name for Jumla is guarantee. That is the Prime Minister's guarantee that when elections are around the corner, then he will give us some benefit, a little bit, but he will. But after elections are over, and God forbid if he were to come back, he would say, oh, the prices have gone up again, so let's increase it by another 400 rupees. So if he is passing on the benefit, this is nothing short of a Jumla or the new word of guarantee of Pradhan Mantri.
This is fakery at its best, Zafar Islam, is what the opposition has also alleged, that the voters are not going to fall for this. Why didn't the Prime Minister say that this was because crude oil prices had reduced? Why did he say this was for Women's Day and for Nari Shakti? That's one of the objections that the opposition has.
Well, you have to understand one thing very clearly, that the Prime Minister has always spoken about how to empower women. Also, he always has spoken that the women of this great country is either sister or mother of the Honorable Prime Minister. And today is a very important day. I congratulate to both the women panelists that today is International Women's Day, and this is a very important day for both of them and for all the women of our great country and the world as a whole. And it is our tradition, and I'm sure that everyone knows that it's our tradition. On such occasion, you definitely, when you say brother or son, then definitely give some present, and I'm sure that this should be seen as a gift from the Prime Minister to all the sisters and mothers of this great country. That is something which is very, very evident.
The opposition does see it as a gift, sir, but they think it's a gift to bribe voters to vote for the BJP. That's the allegation that they're making. They see it as a gift.
See, he has also extended 300 rupees, the Ujjwala gas connection beneficiaries. They have also extended for one more year. That decision came yesterday in the cabinet decision. The Prime Minister has always focused, not to now, always focused that our priority is the women. We need to empower women. Our priority is to empower youth. That's why many decisions has been taken to empower youth. Our priority is to empower the farmers, and we have taken many decisions. So if Nari Shakti have taken a decision, I think we should every woman should congratulate Prime Minister. They must compliment Prime Minister for having been so sensitive and sincere about this the expectation of the Nari Shakti of the country. And if he does something, the people only make this kind of allegation, but fact that the women of this country is very happy. You heard the economist that she said that it makes sense. You ask any women on the street, you will get to hear that Prime Minister is very sincere about their expectations, about their requirement. I mean, who has delivered 33% reservation? It is us. It is the Prime Minister who has delivered 33% reservation to women. Who else has done it? Tell me. And it is not only one thing. There are many such benefit he has given to the Nari Shakti, and he will continue to give, whether there is election, there is no election, but it's a commitment which he is delivering, which he has made it time and again that my commitment is to empower women of this great country.
So this is just the Prime Minister walking the talk, says the BJP, Sujata Paul. It's just the opposition's way of doing politics. So all they do is try and find issues when there are none.
Poonam, I remember that in 2020, when the pandemic was going on, I have the chart in front of me. The crude oil prices had gone down to $20 per barrel, and prices of cylinders didn't come down. Why? Didn't we deserve it? But for the Prime Minister, you're absolutely right. Women can only be measured by the work they do in a kitchen. But of course, as far as jobs are concerned, they will not give jobs. Today, I saw a young girl who has lost her job in spite of the fact that she's a Dalit girl who had done her PhD, who was a professor at DU, and she is selling pakoras. That is what the Prime Minister wants. And about the Nari Shakti, Vandan, whatever law that they have brought in, I want to know why is it that it has not been implemented right now. The women on the streets also want to know why is it that we won't have 181 odd women in Parliament in the next, Parliament. The fact is that this is only a sweetener that you have given to the women of the country because you think that women should be in the kitchen and nowhere else. As far as jobs are concerned, how many jobs have been given? And of course, I also want to know, for women, the best gift for women today would have been seeing the Prime Minister talk about the women of Manipur, going and meeting them, meeting the women wrestlers who have been protesting, but no, there will be no action taken against Brijbhushan Charan Singh because he is important, not the women of the country. The women will only have to be given 100 rupee, lowering of the gas cylinder. Please, I think women deserve better and the Prime Minister should understand it. But this is the Chal Charitra Chehra of the BJP and we do understand that. So your jumlas, like your guarantees, are fake, and we do understand that this is election season and there will be more things which the Prime Minister is going to come up with now because he's
Can I just respond, please?
Go ahead, Mr. Islam.
Can I just respond to you? Yeah. First of all, ask her. I mean, I'm posing a question that recently there was a Rajya Sabha election. How many women they have been given, have been given by Congress party? Just ask her whether 33% reservation they made while announcing the ticket for the Rajya Sabha. They talk nonsense. They try to preach, but they never practice. But it is the Prime Minister. Just see, we have made the announcement of 195 seats. So many women have been given the tickets, and there are many women who will be given tickets in the list, second list or third list, whenever it comes. Even in Delhi, where we are sitting, 5 seats have been announced and 2 are women. So I think they should introspect whether really they are what they preach, they practice. Secondly, see, it is the negative politics of the opposition parties actually is killing them. People have lost confidence in them. If there is anything is happening, it is just the routine 100 rupees relief to women. I think everybody should welcome. It will never become an issue. But they purposely make it an issue because the mindset they have, negative mindset, and it only benefits us. They are the biggest loser by raising questions, by making this kind of statement, by making putting us in the dock for announcing something good for the women. She should welcome it instead of criticizing it.
Pontificating on the nonsense that a woman is speaking on Women's Day, but this is not nonsense. I want to understand why is it that the Prime Minister has not been able to find any other relation with his daughters who have been suffering at the hands of Brijbhushan Charan Singh. Brijbhushan Charan Singh will get a ticket, right? And also Miss Swaraj, who has been given a ticket from Delhi, has got the ticket because she's the daughter of Sushma Swaraj ji, who was no doubt a great politician. But has Basuri Swaraj really delivered as a politician that she's got a ticket? So, you know, the Prime Minister will do what he wants to because he is Maharaja Diraj, Shahenshah Azam and all that. So, let's not get there and stop calling women nonsense. The nonsense that you are pontificating on is clear that you do not understand what the women of this country want. When we talk about the issues of this country, we are promising jobs. We are promising 30 lakh vacant jobs which are there in the government departments because you haven't filled them. The fact is that today it is not just the women but even the youth of the country who are looking at you and asking you why didn't you give them jobs, and why didn't you answer about the lady that I spoke about who was making pakoras today. You want women to make pakoras, and that's why you're talking about cylinders becoming 100 rupee less, and that being a great gift of not mankind, a great gift of Modi kind to women. How cool is that?
I think the Congress party and its negative approach and negative politics actually is bringing them from 53 seats in 2014 to 42 seats and 43 seats in 2019, and now it will be not even be double digit, I guess, because the kind of politics they are pursuing. Please, I do not interrupt. Please have some decency.
Sujata Paul, you had your time. Sujata Paul, you had your time to make a point. Let him finish. I'll come back to you. Let him finish.
Mr. Zafar Islam should say whether this is about politics. And he's answered it. This is only for the sake of politics that women are being given this rebate of 100.
Sure, you've made your point. You've made your point, Sujata Paul. You've made your point, Sujata Paul. Let him have his say as well. Go ahead, sir.
All I'm trying to tell you that every women you ask, except the opposite people are in opposition out of compulsion, what they are saying, heart to heart they are also happy, and she will not say here, but she is happy that there is some benefit going to the women of the country. But it is this government, it is the Honorable Prime Minister's positive approach is being appreciated, and their negative approach, negative politics, and criticizing government, putting government in the dock for every single thing, actually have made them very unpopular in the minds and the hearts of the people of this great country. That's why the receptiveness of their whatever they speak is absolutely zero.
Sure, the kind of comments that come to the fore, the kind of politics that who indulges in, when and whether that bears fruits for them or not, we'll find out sooner than later. But Nirupama Soundararajan, we're talking about inflation, we're talking about joblessness. These are things that are spoken of as policy matters ahead of any election. But it's also about optics. Whether the Modi government is doing everything right or not, many would say at least they're winning the optics battle. Whether it's a lie, it's fakery as the opposition says or not, it is about what message is being sent out to the common voter on ground.
Look, I'll give you my opinion as an economist, and I will tell you what I think as a woman, and as far as not just the 100 rupees is concerned, but generally as far as policies that have been for women-led entrepreneurs, women in workforce. First thing, I think the 100 rupees reduction in LPG is great for any household. I'm not going to say woman. I think it's good for any household, and it's a question of a reduction, and there are many households where the price is high. This will actually free up some money. So to that extent, it is great. The timing, whether it can be done now, whether it could have been done earlier, I'm not going to comment on that. But now that it is done, I think there is an impact that it will certainly have. Point one. Point two, I think when we're discussing about women empowerment and schemes that are being done for women, I think this government has introduced quite a few schemes. The recent vote on account also spoke of mudra loans, in which almost 85 to 90% of the loans that went have been for women. There has been a certain kind of uptake in terms of women-led entrepreneurship. However, there is a lot more that's needed to be done, and this is not going to happen just through government policies. It requires a mindset change, even at by corporate India. I'll give you just a very basic example. If you look at the funding gap between women-led entrepreneurs and male-led entrepreneurs, it's nearly $11.4 billion. That's the funding gap. That's how much. That's the market that you have for women entrepreneurs, which is not being catered to. Now, these are the real issues. Now, this is not something that the government can also resolve just by a policy. This is something which is far more insidious and underlying, and these are the kind of issues which are structural that needs to be addressed. The 100 rupees reduction, you call it what you may, whether it's optics, whether it's not, it does have an impact, and that's great. But obviously, I doubt whether any one person is going to be swayed in terms of their voting.
It does have an impact on certain households, like the economist of the panel is also saying. It also will have an impact on how the voter votes, is what the BJP hopes for. Whether it's about optics or not, whether it's a jumla like the opposition says, public sab janti hai, and I leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us here on this broadcast with your perspective. It's a wrap from my side here on this edition. Rahul Shivshankar joins you next.